Turn on your TVs right now, because the best basketball team ever assembled is playing at this year's Olympics. Yes, you heard me right. Team USA in 2024 is better than the Dream Team, better than the Redeem Team, and what is their name? The Avengers. Why? Because they're going out and avenging that 2023 FIBA World Cup squad who failed to even place on the podium. They finished that World Cup in 4th place. And that disastrous performance, alongside Olympic superstar Noah Lyles calling out all of the NBA for deeming their best team world champions, is the reason why we see so many superstars on this year's Olympic roster. I mean, we've got a LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum. The names on this list are truly endless. Hell, this entire roster might just be made up of eventual Hall of Famers. Half of these guys will end their career being in the top 10 NBA players of all time. Trust me, that's the case with this team, which is what makes them the greatest basketball team ever assembled, and I will stand by that because no other Olympic team has or will ever come close to this. Now, in the lead up to the Paris Games, Team USA had 5 warm-up matches, and in those warm-up matches, they were tested throughout. I mean, of course, we had Kawhi Leonard dropping out early because of potential injury risk, and Kevin Durant wasn't available for a majority, if not all of those games. So there was a lot of roster and rotation flipping that Steve Kerr and the rest of the coaches had to deal with. And in those games, Canada did make it a tough match early on for Team USA up until the ending. And then, of course, the South Sudan game where LeBron James had to put Team USA on their back to not lose that game. Of course, he said that he loves being tested. Those are his favorite kind of games. And that might actually be exactly what Team USA needed to get them to take this seriously. Because over the past 20 years, hell, since the Dream Team, basketball has grown, especially internationally. Every MVP that the NBA has had since 2019 was not born in the USA. First off, we've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who comes from Greece, spent most of, if not his entire life before the NBA in Greece. He won it in both 2019 and 2020. Hell, he won a championship in 2021. And then we've got Nikola Jokic winning the MVP in 2021, 22, and 24. And in those 3 years, he's managed to win a championship with Denver. Where does he come from? Serbia. And then, of course, in 2023, while Joel Embiid does play for Team USA now, he spent 15 years of his life, the first years of his life, from Cameroon, where he was born and raised. And he won the MVP in 2023. Now, has he got a championship? No, hasn't even made a conference finals. Besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that the game of basketball has expanded far beyond the USA. And we'll get more into this Avengers squad in a second. But for right now, I just wanted to remind you guys to slow down, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and every subscription is greatly appreciated. Alright, now let's get to these Paris games. Team USA has played in all 3 of their group matches so far. And what have they done? Win after win after win. With each of these wins being pretty dominant. It doesn't get more dominant than what they did to Serbia, South Sudan, and Puerto Rico. And you may be asking yourself, on a team full of superstars with some of the greatest hoopers of all time, who are the few that rise above the rest? Because while everybody has contributed in the first 3 wins for Team USA, there are superstars who keep their superstar roles while others just kind of have to take a back seat. And the first 3 that come to mind are, of course, the big 3. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, while he may not be looked at in the same light as a Curry or LeBron James, he is very essential to this team. You have to remember, Kevin Durant is the most experienced international player for Team USA and is the program's all-time leader in Olympic scoring. When no one else wanted to do the Olympics, Kevin Durant was there. He has been there ever since he's been eligible to play on Team USA. It just feels like, at times, Kevin Durant isn't always given the credit he deserves, because for one reason or another, a majority of the NBA world dislikes Kevin Durant. But one thing these haters will never take away from him is his success for Team USA. He won gold in 2012, 2016, and 2020. He showed up for Team USA in 2020. No one wanted to go to those Tokyo Olympics in the middle of COVID. But you know who did? Kevin Durant. He showed up and helped carry that team, because if Kevin Durant wasn't on that team, I promise you, there's a good chance USA isn't winning that gold. And of course, he's here in 2024 and is a big contributor. I mean, in the first game against Serbia, the first Olympic game, they were going up against Nikola Jokic. Yes, arguably the best player in basketball right now. Now, Nikola Jokic did a good job holding off the Avengers for about the first quarter, but after that, this team just pounded away at Serbia and led by Kevin Durant, who was coming off the bench because he's recovering from an injury still. I mean, he was near perfect from the field. 8 for 9, had 23 points and 2 rebounds. And that's a lot coming from a Kevin Durant who isn't at 100%. And of course, the second leading scorer and arguably the most important player on this team, especially versus Serbia, was LeBron James. He played 27 minutes at nearly 40 years old, had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists. LeBron James is the reason that this team is what they are. I mean, if LeBron didn't accept the call to come play for Team USA, arguably half of these guys wouldn't have shown up either. That's just how much aura the GOAT has. I mean, he was the flag bearer for a reason. Did you see how cool he looked holding that flag? Of course you did. Everybody did. And then you've got a guy in the corner like a Jason Tatum who was essentially a glorified water boy for the Avengers. I mean, Steve Kerr forgot about him entirely and he didn't play against Serbia. And then in the game against South Sudan, while he did start, he only put up 4 points. But let's get to some of the positives in this South Sudan game. Of course, this wasn't nearly as close as the last time these teams matched up, because by the end of the first quarter, Team USA had a 12-point lead and didn't really let go from there. And a couple new players shined. I mean, Bam Adebayo had 18 points, was fantastic for Team USA, had 7 rebounds. Then you've got a Devin Booker who led the team in assists, and Anthony Edwards, who started to get into his groove and caught a bit of momentum on the offensive end as he got 13 points. And then in the last game against Puerto Rico, you know, a Jose Alvarado-led team. Of course, they weren't going to win this game, and Team USA showed why by the time halftime came around. And in this game, talk about a scoring groove for Anthony Edwards. He had 26 points, 11 for 15, 3 for 6 from the three-point line, had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Phenomenal. And again, guys who didn't get to shine in other games, well, they had a bit of a bright spot. I mean, you've got a Joel Embiid, 15 points for him, 3 rebounds, and then a Jason Tatum finally got his double-double. Great. That's how deep this team is. You forget who's even there. I went the entire video without mentioning Anthony Davis, Tyrese Halliburton, Derek White. Why? Because that's how good this team is. And I will stand on that statement against anyone who says otherwise. But I think I've covered everything I've wanted to. Of course, Team USA has a long ways to go before they even get to the gold medal match, but they are gonna get to that match, and no matter who it is that they see in the finals, they're beating them. Why? Because this Avengers team isn't losing. Anyway, like I said, that's about it for this video. Catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.